Think of it when an aircraft is cruising 39,000 feet over the ocean and suddenly you come to know that aircraft fuel is running out. What would you feel if you were on the flight at that moment? Imagine. They thought they were gone. It was August 14th, 2001, when Flight 236 was high above the boundless sky of the Atlantic Ocean, where a fuel emergency occurred. With 39,000 feet, you cannot even see land. They do not have enough fuel to land at the nearest airport. The plane was traveling from Toronto to Lisbon. There were 293 passengers on Flight 236, including 13 cabin crew and 2 pilots. The flight captain was Robert Piche, who was 48 years old. The first officer, Dirk de Jager, was 28 years old, and he is from Turkey. Flight was a well-experienced captain. He had 16,000 hours of flying experience, and Dirk de Jager is also a professional and experienced officer who had 5,000 hours of flight experience flying this 236 flight. It was a 7-hour journey from Toronto to Lisbon, flight at 9 p.m. Canadian time. The plane takes off at 9 p.m. plane balanced, cruised at 39,000 feet. It was midnight and most of the passengers were sleeping. Everything was going normal when suddenly there was an indication of an error showing a fuel shortage on the right wing of the flight. Both pilots checked, and they found nothing abnormal in the system. They thought it was a mistake in the META reading system, but everything seems okay. In a while, it again shows a red light indicating a fuel shortage in the right wing of the engine. Both wings need equal fuel to fly normally, but there was still nothing to worry about for the pilots, because there is a system available to transfer the fuel to the wings. So the pilot did that by transferring the fuel from the left wing to the right wing. It seems everything was okay. They meanwhile asked the ACT technician team about the problem. They said to wait, they would ask their experts. They replied by saying they don't know anything about this problem. The captain checked the manual book of the flight, but they didn't get anything regarding this problem. Meanwhile, there was again an indication of a shortage of fuel on both wings. As the fuel quickly unfolds, the captain instructs the crew to check the wing trailing edge to see if the trailing edge of the wing has leakage or not. If it is leaking, there might be an indication of that. Within darkness, none leakage seen in the left. There was 5 tons of fuel in the left wing, which was not even close to the nearest airport. It was the time when the pilot became panicky. Tresira Airport was the nearest airport from there. They wanted to quickly take aircraft to land at Tresira Airport anyhow. Tresira Airport was 600 kilometers away. Suddenly, a fire caught on the right side of the engine. Passengers start worrying. They are shocked by seeing the fire. It was impossible to cruise a plane with one engine. The pilot was gliding a plane to arrive at Tresira Airport. Slowly, speed became lower due to running in thrust, and the second engine caught fire. Now the pilot was cruising with gliding gradually. Fortunately, the automatic turbine of the aircraft came out. That generates electricity from the airspeed to power important equipment in the cockpits. The Tresira Airport is now 120 kilometers away. The flight has to glide to arrive at the airport. The worst case is that if the aircraft does not arrive at the airport, it crashes into the ocean. When the flight was 15 kilometers away from the airport, the altitude was 30,000 feet. A normal altitude is 3,000 feet. If the flight did a nosedive, the flight would become faster, and in this situation, there are high chances of a crash landing. That's why Flight decided to take a 360-degree turn right there. Once the turn was completed, the distance from the airport was the same, but the altitude dropped to 5,000 feet. This altitude was still high, but not that high to take a 360-degree turn again. That's why the pilot turned the flight straight to run and took S-turns. Due to S-turns, the plane's distance from the runway increased, and it took more time to lower the altitude. Normally, during landing, flaps are extended to create drag and increase engine thrust to cause the flight's nose to pitch up. But Flight 236 didn't have engine thrust. That's why this landing is not going to be normal. The pilot had the only chance to land a plane, brake, or make. Finally, the plane successfully landed on the runway, 8 tires bruising. It was difficult to stop the plane on the runway, but finally it stopped, but the landing gear caught fire. As the plane stopped, the airport crew quickly calmed the fire. Flight 236 was the first and last passenger plane in aviation history to hold the record for the longest time to glide without an engine. An investigation was carried out regarding leakage, and they came to know that before taking off, the technician opened a part of another engine and forgot to tighten it due to vibration. The fuel pipe was bruised. After this, a new system was installed in planes so that pilots could see and detect fuel leakages. After a year, Captain Robert Pichet and Derek Degaja received the Airmanship Award for performing a dead stick landing on an Airbus A330. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. Feel free to leave your comments and suggestions below. Until next time, stay tuned and keep exploring the world with us. Bye for now.